Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a car that's been out for a while but we haven't had a chance to take a look at. This is the BMW iX M60. Now, before we take this thing out for a drive, let's just remind ourselves of some of the exterior and interior details of this rather different BMW. It's been out for a while now, the iX, and I feel like it's really started to grow on people. When it first came out, it was different, it was out there, a little bit like the i3 and the i8 when they first came out. Of course, you've got the large kidney grills on the front here, which aren't actually grills because, of course, this is a fully electric vehicle. And the actual substance here on the front of the grills is self-healing. So if you get a chip or so on there, it'll actually self-heal. Don't ask me how that works, but it does. You've then got this sort of really nice cutout up through the roundel onto the bonnet. There's a load of really nice subtle lines on this car that doesn't make it too aggressive. Then you've got the thin lights at the front. These are the BMW laser lights as well, with the blue accents underneath, and I think they look fantastic. Along the side, it's quite smooth and sort of simple looking. There's not an overload of lines. Of course, you've still got the Hofmeister kink on there as well, with a lovely little shoulder line which runs all the way through. And round the rear, you've got really soft glow LED lights which wrap around the rear of the car, which just make it look absolutely fantastic. But what are the differences in the M60? Well, to be completely honest, it's normally a load of really nice brushed gold trim. However, this particular car hasn't got them. So the only differences on this particular car are the badging. So you've got some M badges on the side, and then the slightly different look to the iX badge, and then the M60 badge on the rear. But let us know in the comments what you think of the iX. Has it grown on you? Do you still think it's a bit different? I, for one, think it's actually really starting to grow on a lot of people. I think it's actually, if you start to look at it, a really lovely thing to behold. Now, before we go and take a drive in this car and start talking about the battery capacity, the range, the power, the performance figures, and all that stuff, we need to touch on this interior, because I think it's actually one of the best interiors out there. It's quite minimalistic, but also very classy in my opinion. You've got this sort of hovering center console down here with this gorgeous wood effect in this car, the crafted clarity controls as well, and the eDrive control, the gear selector, which obviously isn't a gear selector, it's the drive selector, and then all the crafted clarity across here on the seat controls and so on. But the overall design is super simplistic. There's not a load of buttons in here, there's no actual console down here at all. Then you've got this curved display directly in front of you, which almost hovers and is off the dashboard, running the latest of BMW's operating systems. Of course, you can have wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, all of that is on here too. But I just think it's a wonderful place to sit. These seats are so comfortable, you just sink into them. This differently designed steering wheel as well, I believe it's octagonal. It was so different when it first came out, and I've grown to really love it. We now see this design flat bottomed in a lot of the brand new BMW products. It's just a lovely place to sit, lovely place to spend time. All the technology is absolutely fantastic, and it just screams modernism. It's brilliant. But now let's go and take this for a drive, and I'll run you through all the statistics and what it's really like to drive. So welcome then to the driver's seat of the iX M60. Before I tell you what it's like, let's just touch on some of the stats. We've got a 111.5 kilowatt hour battery with around 620 horsepower. 0 to 62 is dealt with in 3.8 seconds. I mean, before you eat, that's just mind-blowing of a car of this size. We've got a claimed range of around 350 miles on the WLTP cycle, and it can charge at a max capacity of 350 kilowatts. But really, what is this thing like to drive? Now, first things first, when you jump in, the first thing you notice is just how refined this car is. The iX in general is an incredible thing to drive on a daily basis. Now, if I hark my memory back to when I first drove an iX a few years ago, I really didn't know what to expect, and I was so pleasantly surprised by how incredible it was to drive, mainly by just how refined, quiet and comfortable it is. And this M60 is absolutely no different to that. Having that extra flair of M in the iX M60 hasn't taken away from its impeccable feeling of an everyday car. The damping on it is superb. So this M60 gets 2-axle adaptive air suspension, and you can feel that. It feels even more comfortable than the regular iX, and that car is exceptional. You've got this fantastic view out of the cabin as well. It's such a great thing to sit in and look out of. The windscreen just goes all the way down, and you just have a great view out. You know exactly where the front wheels are, you know exactly where everything is. You've got this lovely pano roof above you, which just makes the cabin nice, light and airy. And yeah, when you're just pottering around, this car just feels so comfortable. There's a real just air of classiness to the way that it just manages our horrific roads in the UK. But yeah, it feels amazing. We've got a bespoke carbon fibre reinforced chassis on this car as well, and it feels just the most easy, relaxing, just incredible place to sit and use on a daily basis. It's so quiet. You've also got integral active steering, which is BMW's words for rear wheel steering, and you can really feel that. So what that means is at low speeds the rear wheels aid in maneuverability, because obviously, of course, this is a big car, but then at high speeds they aid in stability. Right, we're just about to get on a motorway here, so let's just see what the power's like. So let's just, you know what, I'm not even going to drop it into sport. 3.8 seconds to 60, 620 horsepower deployed. Yeah, it's quick, and I love the noises that these cars make. They sound amazing. Yeah, it's got plenty of poke, this thing. It just picks up its feet and goes. It is so easy to overtake, so easy to put the power down. Yeah, I mean 620 horsepower, in anybody's words, is a lot of power. But this just feels, I don't know, there's a real linearity to the way that the throttle is deployed. It's not, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It doesn't feel like it's absolutely pummeling you into the seat like you'd expect from 620 horsepower. And I quite like that. It fits with the character of this car. Don't get me wrong. It accelerates so quickly, but it doesn't feel uncomfortable, if you know what I mean. It doesn't feel like you're just being thrown around the cabin every time you accelerate. I've driven plenty of cars, especially electric cars, and their power delivery is just too much. It's too savage. It's too, just the G-forces that go through your body are just ridiculous. Whereas this, the way that it accelerates is, I think, so impressive. Yes, it is mighty, mighty, mighty quick, but not in a way that's going to make you feel ill. Like some cars, especially electric cars that are incredibly quick, are almost too quick. Whereas this, I think, manages that power, it manages the acceleration just incredibly well. It's so impressive the way that it takes off. And then you've got, of course, your regen brakes. I've got it set right now into adaptive. So what the car is doing is it's reading the road. It's determining when is the best time to deploy the regen, when to not deploy the regen. And a lot of the time it feels like you can just go, you can just coast this car. It actually feels very similar to internal combustion in a way when it's coasting, which you don't expect from an electric car. But of course, if you wanted to have full regen all the time, you just go down here and put it into B mode. That is the highest level of regen, and the car will actually now come to a complete stop just on the regen brakes. And you learn it really, really quickly. You learn when the car is going to slow, the pace at which it's going to slow, and then you learn to one pedal drive this car. You barely even use the friction brakes in the end. which I think is a brilliant, brilliant thing, all while pumping power back into the batteries. I just think it's a fantastic thing to drive this. The range is brilliant. I mean, 350 miles is about bang on where the range needs to be. And I think, yeah, this M60, yeah, it's mighty quick in a straight line. It's every bit as comfortable, if not more comfortable, thanks to the active air suspension. It's just a wonderful place to sit. It's a wonderful place to spend time. It just feels lovely on the road. And this steering wheel, yes, it's a bit funky and out there, but I really like it. It's a really nice place to sit, spend time. The interior is great. I think the looks have really grown on me and is growing on a lot of people. It was quite outlandish when it first came out, you remember? Everyone's like, oh, what is that? But just like everything, I think BMW are so far ahead of us that they just get it right. They really do. And if you want any more information on the new BMW iX M60, please use the link in the description of this video to contact your nearest Sytner BMW retailer, or any BMW for that matter. We will help you. Thanks guys ever so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel for plenty more content to come, and I will see you guys again very, very soon.